So you're thinking about moving to Renton, Washington, but you have no idea where the perfect place to live is? Well, in this video, I'm going to be discussing everything that you need to know about Renton. In fact, we're going to pull up Google Maps. We're going to jump in. I'm going to show you all the areas, all the shops and the restaurants that you need to know about, all the neighborhoods, you name it. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to know exactly some of the areas you might like to live in Renton, but more importantly, some of the areas you might hate to live in Renton. So if you're ready to jump into it, let's get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living, working, eating, playing in the city of Seattle, Washington, and surrounding areas like Renton, then subscribe down below, tap that bell for notifications so you could be the first to learn about the current market here in Seattle. My name is David Sappenfield. The team and I, we get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you looking for help to make their move here to Seattle, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next week or next year, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom call. All of our contact information is in the description down below. We're happy to help you make that smooth move to Seattle. So, as I mentioned, we are going to be jumping into Google Maps and covering everything Renton today. I'm going to show you all the spots, all the neighborhoods, everything that you need to know about before making your decision on Renton. So, let's jump into the computer and get going. All right, here we go. We have the Renton pulled up here on the Google Maps, and you'll see Renton is just located at the most southern end of Lake Washington. It's kind of tucked in here down below, but really conveniently located if you're commuting in and out of Seattle. And just to kind of show you the quickest way that you'll be able to get there is, you'll probably jump on 405 somewhere in this area, and then you'll head up I-5, and I-5 will just take you right down into Seattle. So pretty straight shot, really easy commuting. You're probably looking about 20 minutes. Let's pull up the directions real quick and I'll show you exact commute times into downtown Seattle, but it's usually not more than 20 to 25 minutes at best. So let's see here. Yeah, so we're looking at 23 minutes right now. Looks like there's a little bit of traffic as you get into kind of the down, just before the downtown area here. Maybe there's an accident or something, but not too bad. You can see it's a pretty easy commute, nice straight shot, straight down. Bellevue here on the other side, this is also pretty easy to commute from. Let's pull up some commute times to Bellevue from Renton. Here we go. So yeah, you're looking at 21 minutes into downtown Bellevue. Maybe you work in that Bellevue or Redmond area. I will say that there's no traffic currently, but if you're making this same commute at 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night coming south, then instead of 21 minutes, you're probably going to be looking at 45 minutes to an hour. And there's a big reason for that, and I'll show you quickly what that is. And there's a bottleneck on 405. Let me just show you here. So as 405 gets into Bellevue and the downtown Bellevue area, it switches down to 3 lanes from 4. So you really just kind of get that bottleneck effect here in traffic. And, it's always backed up in that section where it narrows down to that 3 lanes just in the, Bellevue and south. But it doesn't matter what day it is, Sunday, Saturday, you can hit traffic at any time. It's just hard to say. So, right now, we're looking pretty good, 21, 22 minutes to get in there, but that is usually not the case. So yes, as the bird flies, that's a really convenient, close location, but just the way that 405 is with the only 3 lanes, and they're working on expanding that, and it's going to be several years before that's done. So that should help fix some of those traffic issues going up and, into Bellevue and out of Bellevue. But it can take you, like I said, to go, 7 or 8 miles. It can take you an hour to maybe even an hour and a half on some days when traffic is really bad. So just something to keep in mind with the east side coming from Renton. way easier to get into Seattle from Renton. So maybe you commute, or maybe you fly a lot for work and you're traveling to the airport. Well, Renton is a super convenient location to get into SeaTac Airport. You know, it's probably about a 10-minute drive. Let's see here. Let me map this real quick. Yep, 9-minute drive to get to SeaTac International Airport, which, you know, it's a super convenient location if you're flying out a lot. But, you know, keep in mind, if you have friends and family that are flying a lot and you live in that Renton area, chances are they're going to be asking you to drive them to the airport because it's so close and convenient for you. So I can remember that when I lived in the Renton area there, I would frequently be bringing friends and family to the airport, just, you know, and it wasn't a problem because it was so close, but keep that in mind. So if you're traveling a lot, Renton is a great location for you for getting to the airport. You probably wouldn't really want to go up to Payne Field to fly out of just because of SeaTac's convenient location. But, you know, you do have the Payne Field option up in Everett as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's talk about some of the things that you can do in Renton, places to visit, restaurants to check out. We'll kind of start at the northern end of Renton and then just work our way down. But if we zoom in here, we'll see at the very north end of Renton, you have the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. And what this is where the Seattle Seahawks, our NFL team, this is their training facility. This is where they practice. It's really cool. During preseason, they open up they call it the VMAC, the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. They open up the VMAC to all of the fans. You can go and watch spring training on, you know, certain days. They allow you to come and watch that. So really cool. Right on the lake, you can see here. It's just, you know, lakefront property, beautiful on a sunny day. Go watch the players, you know, getting ready for the season. It's a lot of fun. So if you're a football fan, then you would probably want to check that out. There's a little retail section in here, not too far. There's a Dino's Pub. They have great food, just kind of like a little, you know, bar. I wouldn't call it a dive bar. It's actually pretty nice, but Dino's is great. And then, you know, there's some more strip mall areas over here. You have the McDonald's, Starbucks. If you're into aquariums and fishing, Barrier Reef Aquariums actually is a really cool store. So I know not many people are, but if for some reason you are, this is a super cool location to go and get your aquarium related stuff. So not a whole lot of those kind of stores around the Seattle area, but this is one of the cooler ones. And just to go see the fish and everything, it's a pretty cool spot. And this is just kind of in the Kennydale neighborhood. You'll see here, we'll get into the neighborhoods here in a minute, but I'll show you kind of lower Kennydale right here. So this is probably like the most sought after area of Renton. A lot of these homes in this lower Kennydale area have views. So it's going to be all kind of single family, detached, you know, single family homes in this neighborhood. But you also have kind of upper Kennydale right here. Oh, that's kind of a wonky line, but upper Kennydale right here. So really two great areas to live. Probably, you know, between lower Kennydale, upper Kennydale, like I said, it's probably the most desirable areas in Renton, you know, because you're also closer to Bellevue if you're commuting in there. So it's not quite as bad, but it's still kind of terrible sometimes getting onto 405 there, going, you know, commuting 405. But yeah, love that neighborhood. We'll get into that a little bit more in a minute here. But just down south here on the south end of the lake, you'll see Gene Coulden Beach Park. This is probably my favorite park in all of the kind of the Seattle area park systems. Super cool location, just laid out really nice. At the south end of the lake here, you have playgrounds, you have big grassy areas, tennis courts, volleyball courts with sand. There's a couple restaurants in there, but you know, actually, instead of trying to describe all this to you, let's jump in the car. I'm going to show you Coulden Beach Park and just kind of give you an up close and personal look at it. Okay, so here we are at Coulden Beach Park. right here at the south end of Lake Washington in Renton. We are just a little bit north of the Renton Landing area, that big shopping restaurant, the newer development there in downtown Renton. If you saw the vlog video we did, that's where we started out at the landing. So that's just right there, here over my shoulder. I'll turn around so you can kind of see the general direction. But yeah, like right on the south end of Lake Washington, there's a big Boeing plant, which you might be able to see the big green planes. They're manufactured and, you know, put together here, and then they ship them off to have them, you know, tested and all of that. But this is kind of the beginning stage of these, you know, big planes being put together. And then there's also a big hotel. It's like the Hyatt. They put a brand new hotel in down here, which is great because this area definitely needed something like that. But Coulden Beach Park, probably my favorite park in all of the Seattle area. Really cool layout. Down over this end, the kind of the south end of the park, there's a really big playground. Kids love it. There's tons of stuff for them to do. Keeps them busy for hours. One thing I will say is it is right next to the water, so you gotta kind of keep pay close extra attention to the kids when they're there, because, you know, they're kind of drawn to that water. But really cool playground just right next to the water. And then there's a big beach, a big swimming area that has lifeguards that work it during the summertime. But I don't know how big it is, but a really big beach with sand and just a great spot to swim. A big dock that kind of goes all the way around, kind of juts out into the water and then all the way back. So great place to swim, great place to fish. There's basketball courts, there's tennis courts, there's like little picnic shelter areas with barbecues like most parks have. But yeah, that's kind of down at that end of the lake. And then there's also like an 8-lane boat launch. And then right behind me, you'll see Kid Valley, which is kind of a hamburger place, hamburgers, fries, shakes, stuff like that. And then there's also an Ivers. So Ivers is like a really popular fish and chips place here in the Seattle area, local to Seattle. Really good fish and chips, definitely a really good spot to check out if you like that sort of thing. And then if we kind of turn around this way, behind me here, there's a really long walking trail that is probably like a mile or two that is right next to the water. Really cool walk, you know, it's all paved and nice and maintained. No bikes, no dogs allowed at the park, so you don't have to worry about bikes running into you or anything like that. But yeah, keep in mind, no dogs allowed here, which I kind of wish they allowed dogs, but that's okay. But yeah, that big long trail right next to the water, great place to just kind of go and venture off and get a little bit of walking in. And, you know, a lot of the times you'll see turtles, ducks, stuff like that, you know, all the lake wildlife, which is really cool. It's a fun place to walk. The kids love it. And yeah, like I said, this is my favorite park in all of the Seattle area. So definitely check it out if you're in the area.
All right, so that was Coulden Beach Park, super cool area, really fun place to hang out, and just, you know, especially during the summer times, you know, being on the lake right there, just grabbing lunch real quick there at Ivers or Kid Valley, great location. So you'll see here down to the south of Coulden, this little commercial area in the yellow. This is the Renton Landing, and Renton Landing is a really great location for shopping, restaurants, happy hour, a whole lot of great spots that you definitely want to check out. There's a Target, I believe this is the Target, yeah, Target right there. You have an LA Fitness down here, plenty of parking everywhere. Wingstop, man, if you haven't checked out a Wingstop before and you like wings, Wingstop is pretty incredible. I would definitely recommend checking that out. But lots of different little sandwich shops. You have Panda Express, you know, kind of everything that you would expect in kind of a strip mall setting. But really a great part of town. Let me pull up the kind of street view here and just show you what it looks like if I can get in there. Here we go. So, this is where we started the Renton vlog video, right here in this big roundabout, but a whole lot of really great restaurants, lots of little, there's a coffee shop, donut shop, Mexican restaurant that's really good down there. The Rock here, this is a pizza restaurant that's, serves really, really good pizza. Cover a little bit more of that in the vlog video, so if you want more info on that, I would recommend checking that out. But yeah, Renton Landing has a lot of cool little restaurants, shopping areas, everything that you would need right there. So there's also a Lowe's home improvement, so big box store for the hardware store. There's actually only 2 hardware stores in Renton. If you go a little bit further down into downtown Renton, there's a McClendon hardware right here. But Lowe's is probably a little bit more convenient just because it's right off of exit 5 here, and you can just skip down the hill and you're right here. Renton has a really big development project going on right here. This used to be the site of Fry's Electronics, which is kind of like a big warehouse store for electronics, if you know what those are, but that closed down, no longer there. And they're actually in the process, they're kind of in the discussion phase. And I know permits have been approved, everything like that, but they're building almost a 1,200 unit apartment complex in this section here, just to the east of the Renton Landing. And it's going to be done in 3 phases. This, phase 1 of that development is going to be beginning in 2024. And then phase 2, I think, is in like 2028, 2029. And then the 3rd and final phase will be in 2034. So, kind of stretched out. It's not going to just be overnight. There's going to be 1,200 new residents there, but this area is rapidly growing with all of these new apartments that are going to be going in here. So kind of keep that in mind. Traffic might get a little worse here in this area, but but really, really a great location. Super, super easy to get into Seattle, Bellevue, like I was saying. So I think it's going to be a really popular area for people. You have the Boeing, the Renton factory here. This is where they make the planes. It's the 737s you'll see that are made here. So a lot of employment opportunity in Renton for like the aerospace industry. So you have this big plant here at the edge of, on the south edge of Lake Washington. And then right here next to it, well, actually, before we get over there, I want to show you here Topgolf. This is a great location here, just on the outside of the Renton Landing area here. This has been open for a year now, about that long, but super cool location. Even if you don't golf, Topgolf is a lot of fun, like a group setting. You can come and you hit balls. The balls have like little microchips in them, and you can play games and try to get the ball in certain greens. And but good food, good drinks, really cool atmosphere. Definitely a fun spot to hang out if you enjoy that kind of thing. And like I said, even if you don't golf, it's still a fun place to go and just hang out with friends and do all that. So, but yeah, like I was saying, Boeing Renton factory was that's right up here. There's an airstrip, an airfield right here, Renton Municipal Airport. And, this is where Boeing flies, test flies their 737s out of. And so you do get a little bit of airplane noise when you're, in the Renton area. It's not too bad. And, if I'm showing you here kind of the flight path, it kind of goes right over Mercer Island, which Mercer Island probably gets the worst of the airplane noise from Renton Field because it's flying directly over it. But, you do hear it a little bit, the closer to the water that you are, the more you hear. I lived like right here in this area for 11 years. I never really noticed it. Once in a while you would hear planes, but like I said, it's usually when you're down, at the park, you kind of hear them and see them. But most of the planes flying in and out of that Renton Municipal Field are kind of like the smaller private planes. No commercial flights headed out of there. So, but it's something that you need to be aware of, that, there are, there is some airplane noise in this area, so just kind of a negative, I guess. They definitely hear it over here in this kind of Skyway neighborhood. They get a little bit more, so just keep that in mind. So another big employer is the Kenworth Truck Company, and this is right downtown Renton, not too far from the landing. And Kenworth Trucks is a big, the semis that you see on the roads, this is where they manufacture, put together these big semis. Kenworth is a company of PACCAR, which PACCAR is a huge multinational company, but lots of employment opportunity in the trucking industry, and PACCAR being right there, they take up a pretty large footprint in this Renton area, kind of all around here. And but yeah, lots of jobs created between Boeing and Kenworth. So between those two, you got a lot of opportunity right there. So if we head a little bit further south into kind of the downtown area, this is kind of like the old Renton, where you'll see, kind of some of the, older, not office buildings, but just let me zoom in here. I'll kind of show you what this part of town looks like, but more kind of commercial, restaurants, really cool part of town. Actually, it's that's one thing I miss about Renton the most, probably, is all of the cool spots to eat at. And just this is that downtown section. It's kind of the older Renton. It's definitely dated a little bit more than like what you'll see over at the landing, but a lot of great restaurants here. Two of probably my favorite restaurants in Renton, and they're pretty high in just all of the Seattle area. And my favorite has got to be Melrose Grill. Melrose Grill is a really great steakhouse. It's tiny, it's small. If you don't get there early, you are not going to get a seat for a while. But it's been there since like 1901, and they just have incredible food, incredible service, and just a really, really a great spot to go and have date night, something like that. It's just a great spot to go. Love Melrose Grill. Another cool area is called the Red House here. Red House, this is another kind of funky little quirky restaurant. It's actually in an older home that was, a residential home in kind of the downtown Renton area, but it's like a wine shop. They have a bunch of like beer refrigerators set up where you just kind of walk throughout this house. You can pick out what you want to drink, sit down, order food. There's 2 stories. You can go upstairs and like eat in these bedrooms. It's kind of, it's pretty random, but it's a really cool area. A really cool restaurant. I really enjoy that one a lot, especially during the summertime, where you can go out and sit on the deck and just get some good happy hour. Lots of great food at that one. And then this is another kind of area of downtown Renton. So you have lots of commercial spots here. There's a Walmart, lots of restaurants. There's that McClendon's Hardware. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit. And there's a Safeway. Here we have Renton High School. I'll kind of get into the high schools here in a minute, but yeah, pretty popular shopping area down here in the downtown Renton area. So as we go a little bit further south, we will run into more of industrial area of Renton, kind of in this whole section here. A lot of warehouses, just like I said, industrial businesses right here. So no, you're not going to find any residential in this part of town. There is an IKEA, which, everybody knows about IKEA, all the furniture, everything like that. And then you have Valley Medical Center right here. So this is another big employer in Renton, which is going to be the Valley Medical Center. And then a whole lot of other medical office buildings in this area right here. And but yeah, this is kind of tucked away here down in South Renton. really close to the South Center area where you have Westfield Mall right here. That's what this big section is right here. So pretty conveniently located if you live in Renton to make it over to this mall right here. So shopping opportunities are plentiful in the Renton area. But yeah, we'll if we go a little bit east of this industrial section, the hospital, this is the Bensen Hill neighborhood, which, very convenient location. You can jump onto 167 right here. You're a little bit further to get to downtown Seattle. It's probably going to add another 5 or 10 minute commute to you if you're in this Bensen Hill area or even the Fairwood area over here. But so just because you're tucked a little bit further south, you got to jump on 167, shoot up to 405. But single family homes, older homes built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, pretty common in that Bensen Hill area. And if we head a little bit further east, we run into Fairwood, which is the southern part of Renton as well, just kind of like Bensen Hill there. But Fairwood is really a nice area. You'll find some newer homes, I guess 80s, 90s, early 2000, a lot of those in this Fairwood area. But this is the shopping center, the shopping complex for Fairwood. You have a Safeway, Apogee Pub and Eatery. This is a really good little pub, restaurant, great spot to check out. You have a Shakey's Pizza Parlor. Shakey's is awesome. I didn't even know Shakey's was still around. We used to have our football parties and end of season baseball parties and stuff at Shakey's. I thought those were all gone until I started looking at this map. So there's still one there. Definitely check it out. Shakey's is awesome. So I think that might be the last one around, but Shakey's is great. And then, just to the north of this little shopping section, here's where you have the Fairwood Country Club. Private golf course. You need to be a member or know a member to golf there, but super nice golf course. If you're looking for other spots to golf just down the hill from that, you wind down this hill right here, you'll run into Maplewood Golf Course, which is a public course. And if I'm being honest, it's kind of boring. The front 9 of that course is funner than the back 9 is kind of boring. I like the golf and pretty much golfed all these golf courses, and not a bad spot to go though if you're just looking to go meet up with some buddies to get a quick round in, but not one of my favorites, I guess I could say. While we're on the topic of golf here, I'll show you probably one of the cooler golf spots in the area, and that's just in Newcastle here, north of Renton. But there's the golf club at Newcastle. Really nice courses. There's actually 2 18-hole courses. You'll see here in the picture, there's just beautiful city views of Seattle, Bellevue. Just an incredible golf course. Really difficult, but really nice. There's even a putting course, like natural grass putting course. The restaurant up there is really good. So just a really neat part of town to go and either have dinner or get around to golf in. Okay, now if we head up a little bit further north here, now while we were going through the downtown area, I forgot to point out here the Henry Moses Aquatic Center, and this is a great spot. I think it opens in July, maybe end of June, but aquatic area, splash pad, water slides, really cool spot on those summer days that it's just got everything you would need. They even have days where they let dogs in there, and I don't really know the details on that. Hopefully it's towards the end of the season when they're going to be draining that pool, but I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, really a great spot right there off of 405 and 169, the Maple Valley Highway here. But yeah, for summer fun, go down those water slides, hang out in the pool for a while. That's a good spot for it. And then heading up into the kind of the Highlands area of Renton, Jimi Hendrix. Hey, if you're a Jimi Hendrix fan, you can go see his memorial. He's actually buried in Renton from the area. So if you're a fan, definitely check that out. And then heading a little bit down Northeast 4th here. Now, if you've seen any of the other videos, you've probably heard me talk about Chuck's Donuts. this is the most incredible donut shop in the world, and definitely check it out. And they're just incredible. I can't say enough good things about these donuts. So really, it's the best donut you could ever have, and it's right there in the Highlands, East Highlands area of Renton. So right off of Northeast 4th there. Great spot. But there's a big shopping complex right here. You have Safeway, couple little cafes. Let me pull up the street view here. But you can just kind of see, it's an auto parts store there. Like I said, Safeway. There's Safeway gas, which is great because usually you get that better deal on gas. Here's your post office right here off of 4th. And then some more little auto shop areas. But yeah, this is the Highlands area. Really a great area to live if you're asking me. It's probably the second greatest spot in Renton as far as location is concerned, is this Highlands area. If you go a little bit further east, this is unincorporated King County, still Renton, but just outside of the city limits. There's a ice skating arena. So if you're into ice skating and want to do that, you can do that right up there in the excuse me, in the Highlands neighborhood. Okay, so another couple shopping areas in the Renton, the Highlands neighborhood. You have this main section here. There's a Planet Fitness, a McDonald's, a couple restaurants, but you have shopping here. Then if you head a little bit further west, this is another shopping area, and this area is undergoing massive change. Just off of Sunset Boulevard here, you'll see in this area right here. Let me see if I can pull up the map here and show. Yeah, so there was a big strip mall development that, if I'm being honest, it was kind of not the best of areas, and just really probably the best thing that they just wiped it out and are building, new multi-use apartments, retail, everything right here in this area. So it's really transforming that Highlands area for the better, which is a great thing, because this area, while I lived there, wasn't the best part of town, and but that's definitely changing for the better. Now, let's talk about the high schools that are in Renton, the public high schools. Obviously, yes, there are lots of middle schools, there are lots of elementary schools, but I'll kind of point out the public high schools. And if we go downtown here, so just north of this downtown area, you have Renton High School. Not a very highly rated high school, so all of the high schools in Renton, with exception of one, rank anywhere from like 2 stars to 5 stars on the, or two, between a 2 and a 5 on the greatschools.org ranking system. So not highly rated. Probably one of the cons of Renton is just the school system is probably not the best. And then if you're in this Bensen Hill, Fairwood area, here's Lindbergh High School, which services this whole area here. Again, I think that's like a 3 or a 4 on the great schools ranking, and that goes all the way up to a 10 for reference for you. And then there is Hazen High School, which is up here. This is where a lot of the kids that live in the Highlands area are going to Hazen. Again, I think that's a 4 or a 5 on the ranking, so a little bit lower. And there's that one exception that I was telling you about, and that is Liberty High School in Renton. And here we go, Liberty High School. And this ranks very highly. And this is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on the Great Schools website. And this one, actually, the difference that you see between this one and the other 3 high schools in Renton is this one is actually part of the Issaquah School District. So you'll see Issaquah right here. This Liberty High School is part of that Issaquah School District. So higher rated, if you're over in that area, you can, get that great school district and, take advantage of those schools while living in Renton and, having a lower cost of living by living in Renton, but getting that Issaquah school district. So you can find that with some of the elementary and middle schools as well. But you're going to be over towards the east side of Renton, up in the Highlands here. You can kind of catch the fringe of that Issaquah School District. But let's talk about some of the neighborhoods real quick. We kind of covered the Kennydale neighborhood, Lower Kennydale, Upper Kennydale. Really nice area, single family homes. You're not going to see any condos in this area, but probably out of all of the Renton neighborhoods, this is where people want to be. And then we have in this section here, the Highlands, which is kind of all right here. Highlands is super nice, safe, safer feeling than some of the other parts of Renton, and I'll kind of get into that. But Highlands, a lot of nice single family homes. There's even some condos sprinkled in. You'll see some townhomes, some newer development townhomes over in this area right here. But yeah, Highlands is probably second on the list as far as like a desirability scaling system for neighborhoods in Renton. Then you have this downtown section right here, which, it's probably not the most desirable in that downtown area. You have a little bit of a higher crime rate in this section, in this downtown area, and then especially in this downtown section, kind of by this Walmart here. These are areas that you may want to avoid, and at nighttime at least. Sometimes they're just a little bit kind of sketchy, I guess you could say, in those areas. So but in this downtown area right here, a lot of older homes, early 1900s built. They're actually pretty cool. I do think that there are a lot of cool homes in that area, but I feel like just the safeness feeling of it, and just the crime in that area, I think you could probably do better in that in the Renton area. So but yeah, that is the kind of the downtown section. And then we have the Bensen Hill neighborhood, and that's just kind of tucked right here by the Fairwood neighborhood. And these two neighborhoods, a little bit further, if you're in the Fairwood area, you're, dropping down the hill, getting on Maple Valley Highway, and then commuting from there. That's probably going to add another 10 minutes to your commute if you're going to Seattle or Bellevue. And then kind of the same for Bensen Hill. You're getting on that 167, going to 405, and then, branching off either way, depending on which area you're traveling to. So, but yeah, that's a pretty good rundown of all things Renton that I can show you here on the map video. All right, well, there you have it. That is a pretty in-depth look at a map tour of Renton. Are there some areas that you thought that maybe you could see yourself living in, or maybe areas that you would like to avoid? And if there's other parts of Renton that you would like more information on, just drop them in the comments down below. I can shoot a video on it, no problem. But I'd love to hear from you and give you as much information as possible on Renton, or any of the surrounding areas, actually. If there's something that you would like to see, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're thinking about making a move to Seattle or one of the surrounding suburbs like Renton, and you want to be confident that you're making the right choice on your first choice, then give us a call. Definitely reach out to us. We want to make sure that that first choice is your best choice, so you don't end up regretting it later. Whether you're moving next week, next year, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom call. All of our contact information can be found in the description down below. We're happy to help you make that smooth move to Seattle. And until next time, we hope to show you around town. Take care. Bye.